Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game So today I got a very fun and exciting episode for you guys today because I am playing the recently preserved and lost to time but now found DoDonPuchi. And no, I didn't just mispronounce that, it is not DoDonPachi, this is DoDonPuchi. Think like the Simpsons character, or from a more gaming aspect, Puchi from the Metro Melee franchise. This was dubbed by Service and it is now available on the Keitai Launcher for everyone to enjoy. Because back in the day, in like the mid-2000s, Cave would release specific versions of their games for feature phones in Japan, but they also decided to actually make some original games as well. So DoDonPuchi Zero here is a complete from the ground up developed shmup for cell phones, and honestly it kind of has big Game Gear vibes going on as well. And if you can't tell already, we're definitely dealing with a much lower frame rate than you would get out of Cave arcade games, but of course cell phones weren't designed to play bullet hell shmups, they were designed to make phone calls, and if they could do anything else back in the mid-2000s, people were just stoked to actually have that as an option. But I will say, even though the game doesn't have the highest frame rate, one, it is absolutely amazing to get another Lost Cave shmup preserved and playable by everyone for all time, and two, somehow I was actually able to manage to beat this game with only using 2 continues on my first run with this frame rate. Either I was having a good day or the hit detection's off. We'll just have to decide between ourselves whether or not I was doing well or not. And I am very curious, leave me a comment down below and you tell me, did you even know that DoDonPuchi Zero existed, or were you surprised by it? I had read in a comprehensive list of Cave games maybe 5 or 6 years ago this mentioned, as well as a version of B-Storm for cell phones, but I of course never played it because it was never available to play online. But as of yesterday of the recording of this audio, the game has been 100% preserved and you can play it in Keitai Launcher whenever you want to sit down and actually enjoy it. And I kind of got a little bit far into the video, but before we get too further involved, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. If you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. Just be slightly careful when you're actually pushing the buttons. I was trying to figure out how to use the bomb, and I managed to reset the game back to the main menu, just because it's kind of easy to reset this thing by pushing the wrong buttons in the wrong configuration. But you will see here that you get 3 different independent ships that you can use. They're all going to have their own different play style, so you kind of get to pick and choose what works for you, then jump right into the game. And one of the most intelligent design decisions I think the developers at Cave made was having your actual fire just be automatic. You do not have to hold down any sort of key on your keyboard or back in the day on your phone to have the shots go out. And you will see me switching between this wide shot as well as the beam shot. You get 2 different weapons in the game. And if you want to play this, it can be a little bit confusing, but at least on keyboard is the way I played it. Shift and the number 4, the actual pound key, is going to be how you fire off those bombs. But I would say for the frame rate that you're getting here, it is actually infinitely controllable, and the developers did a good job of giving you just enough bullets to actually put up challenge, but not trying to fill the screen like they do on the arcade releases. And I'm sure that's because the cell phones probably couldn't keep up with them. But honestly, I was just playing this on my laptop's keyboard. It was one of those things I was finding decent success with it. I'm pretty sure if I probably played this 5 or 6 more times, I could 1cc it, because you're getting all of 2 stages here. So it is not the longest game in the world. If you want to experience DoDonPuchi Zero for yourself from start to finish, give yourself 10 minutes tops and you will see everything it has to offer. But that is because, again, it was a cell phone game, so it was never intended to have the longevity of an arcade release or a home console port. It was just meant to entertain you on your way to work or hanging out with your friends or anywhere else where you might want to kill 5 or 10 minutes. But the difficulty here set on normal is good, but you can ramp it up to hard as well, and it will get even harder from there. I would say on normal difficulty, they definitely keep restocking that bomb stock way more than any sort of Cave bullet hell shmup that you would see in arcades or any of the mainline releases. And I'm pretty sure they kind of try to balance that out so that when you're actually using this on your cell phone, you had a little bit of an advantage, because this is definitely hard mode, even if I didn't find it that hard, just because we don't have as many frames of animation. Think of when Cave games slow down when there's a lot of bullets on the screen. That is intentional, but here it's basically in slowdown mode the entire time, because that's what the cell phone this was designed for could pull off. Let's go into a soundtrack sample, because unlike a lot of the Keitai Launcher games, you actually get a full soundtrack the entirety of the experience, and the music is quite good as well, made by one of Cave's composers. So go ahead and listen for 45 seconds and I'll be right back with a lot more details on this. It's definitely some fun music, and it works in the context of the game you're seeing in front of you. And as we move into the first boss here, I will say, even though it isn't running very fast, the animation in that actual sprite is definitely doing a good enough job of articulating it. It looks like some sort of gigantic land turtle. At least that's what I'm seeing. I see a face and a couple turtle feet, and then a gigantic mech shell on its back. And it's kind of funny how many different developers love using animals and then basically just putting an entire fortress on their back. Leave me a comment down below and you tell me what's the first game you think about when you think about that one. For me, it's definitely Metal Slug all day long and twice on Sundays. But you will see here, it's a very interesting boss fight with a lot of fun patterns, and if you're paying attention, you can get through them. I ended up in a very strange situation here where I ended up dead at the same time that the boss ended up dead. It didn't actually push through with his destruction animation, because you'll see that bar is empty, and when I actually hit the first shot, he immediately dies. So either there was some sort of bug there in the code, or their life bar isn't actually representative of the life that the boss has left. But honestly, weird things happen all the time in games. They're just kind of fun to point out. And now as we move on to stage 2, this is the back half of the game, because again, that's all there is, are 2 stages here. But shockingly, Cave definitely got into the cell phone market a ton. There are a lot of fun cave games out there that you can play today, and I believe there are still a few that are lost to time. And the way these things are found is basically people go out there and just buy these phones, maybe in bulk, maybe when they see them, and they just hope to hell that when they open up the applications, something that hasn't been dumped that is a game is there, and then it can be added into the archive. So think about it that way. Imagine going out and just buying a bunch of random iPhones looking for an iOS game that is no longer available on the store just so you can play it. How many phones would you have to buy, and how much money would you have to spend before you actually found that needle in a haystack? Because that's what these things truly are. They are very tiny needles in very massive haystacks, because think of how many cell phones were purchased back in the day in Japan that could have run these games, and think of the percentage of those that went to the e-waste recycler, and whatever is left over is what you have to pick from. So the fact that these games are even found in the first place is absolutely amazing, and really is dedication to preservation. And if you know me and you know the channel, that is one thing I'm always going to advocate for here and do myself any chance I get. Protecting these games, making sure they're playable for all time, and making sure they don't become completely lost media that is lost to our world is definitely important, because trust me, some games just do not exist anymore. There might be evidence of them existing at one point in time, but they've been lost and can never be recovered. And I will say this ship here kind of tricks you a little bit. You don't actually have to fire at it. You're not really trying to destroy anything. You just need to wait for it to back up enough to hit the dock, and then you can move past it. But of course, because you are firing the whole time, you're thinking to yourself, why isn't it blowing up? Or at least that's how I read it. But you tell me down below, what is your favorite shmup, and what is your favorite cave shmup, and did you really even know any of these cell phone games existed? Because it's something I've been talking about more on the channel, and that is because there's some awesome exclusive entries in some famous franchises out there, like a Mega Man Legends game that has a full English translation. That is something that most people have never played before. But it's soundtrack sample 2 time, another 45 seconds, and I'll be right back, explain how you can play this game today and why you should be happy that it's here. I mean, also I really like the music and the level as well, but think of it this way. This could have easily been found by a collector and never shared with anyone. If you don't remember, I will try to leave a link in the description below, but there's a device by Taito called the X55 DataNet Station. It's basically a karaoke machine that also had video games on it, and for the most part, everyone thinks those games are lost to time because they were downloaded over telephone lines back in the day. But I know 2 games that actually run on that thing. I've seen evidence of them being in Japan on collector's units, and every single time I try to talk to anyone to be able to feature in a video, I am told that it's not for me, it's only for the 2 people that own them. And while I totally understand that if you buy something, it is your prerogative to do whatever you want with it, it is one of those things that's always disappointing. I'll continue to hunt for other sources because I want people to be able to enjoy everything they possibly can. And the fact that there's other people out there, of course, like this, that actually dump something like DoDonPuchi Zero so everyone can enjoy it, just absolutely makes me happy. It's one of my favorite things in gaming, when people feel that something's important and they love it enough to be able to share it with everyone. It is one of the most fun things you can do, so definitely high marks for the preservation on this one. But we are done. I'm going to keep fighting what I assume to be some sort of mech squid, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.